Welcome to Daily Logistics. In this video, we are going to talk about what is container shipping. Without further ado, let's get started. Container shipping has a history of more than 60 years. More than 60% of ocean freight is containerized cargo. Day by day, large container ships are added to the global fleet of ships by shipping lines to meet the demand for containerized cargo. There are different shipbuilding companies for shipbuilding, and the largest container ship in the fleet can carry up to 24,000 TEUs. Definition of containerization. Stuffing cargo into a container for transportation is called containerization. The Oxford Student Dictionary has given definition of containerization as the process of packing and transporting things in containers or large metal or wooden boxes for transporting goods on ships, trains, etc. History of containerization. 1,000 years ago, shipping goods was not easy. Each individual product packed in barrels, bags, and boxes had to be loaded and unloaded separately, as the only known loading and unloading technique was bulk transport. Since this process is labor-intensive, ships had to spend hours in ports loading and unloading cargo, consuming time with the risk of accidents, theft, and loss. Later, individual goods were bundled with ropes to facilitate cargo handling, but no logical system was presented. The introduction of box shipping was a true turning point in the history of shipping. Container shipping has more than 60 years of history. Malcolm P. McLean, a businessman from North Carolina, USA, changed the shipping industry with his clever idea of introducing container shipping. McLean has become aware of the delays and risks involved in freight forwarding in break-bulk shipping. He then came up with the idea of transporting them on a trailer, which later became the shipping container used today. McLean's idea was to simplify and smooth the shipping and transfer of cargo from the ship to other modes of transport with the trailer to reduce unnecessary cargo handling. His theory was to improve efficiency through intermodalism. At McLean's Steamship Company, on April 26, 1956, he shipped 58 metal container cases along with 15,000 tons of bulk oil from Port Newark to Port Houston in the U.S. Malcolm McLean converted the tanker from World War II, the Ideal X, in shipping containers and has transported the world's first container. Due to the popularity gained by McLean's Sea-Land Services, the first container shipping company, Matson Navigation Company, entered container shipping 2 years later. Its first container shipping ship, Hawaiian Merchant, began container shipping in the Pacific, carrying 20 containers from Alameda to Honolulu. Sea-Land built the first container-only ship, the Gateway City, which made its maiden voyage on October 4, 1957, from Port Newark to Miami. She was starting a regular trip between Port Newark, Miami, Houston, and Tampa. Gateway City's productivity was 264 tons per hour with 2 dockworker crews. In January 1960, Grace Line's Santa Eliana became the first fully containerized ship to trade internationally with her sailing to Venezuela. ISO standards for containers. With the rapid development and use of containers due to their utility, there is a need to have globally agreed on container sizes. Having standard container sizes could utilize space by stacking them on ships that support the stowage plan, trucks, and yards. Additionally, cargo handling equipment, including cranes, could be manufactured in standard sizes. In 1961, the International Organization for Standardization, also known as ISO, established standard container sizes to further smooth and support the container industry. With standards, the most common container sizes are 20 feet and 40 feet long. Therefore, 1 TEU equals a 20-foot equivalent unit or 1 20-foot long. A container ship's capacity and cargo volume are also measured by TEUs. Another 40-foot long container are commonly known as 40-foot as the length of 2 20-foot long containers. What types of goods can be containerized? In general, any good which fits the size of the container can be containerized. There are different types and sizes of containers available for you to find the best fit container for your goods. What are containers? Containers are generally constructed of aluminum or steel. With the going green concept, there are containers with bamboo floored being eco-friendly. Regardless of the manufacturer, all the containers are built as per the ISO standards. There are general type containers and containers specifically made to carry specialized cargo. A few examples are open-top containers, flat racks, tank containers, and reefer containers. As per the World Shipping Council, there are more than 34 million TEUs available in the world container fleet. What is a full container load? Full container load is commonly known as FCL. When a shipper has cargo to fill a container or when the container is fully loaded, we call it a full container load. What is less than container load? When the cargo volume is smaller to fill a container, we call it less than container load or LCL. By combining a few LCL shipments, we can fill a container. Or we could say the combination of LCL shipments becomes FCL. What is a laden container? A container filled with cargo is a laden container. In shipping, laden container flow is high from Asia to Europe, as Europe countries import goods from the international market and Asian countries are more into exports of Europe demanded goods. What is empty container? Some countries import cargo more and export less. So the containers that came with cargo need to be shipped back with cargo or without cargo. The containers shipped without cargo is the empty containers. What are the types of containerization? There is air freight container as well. Same as in sea transportation, air freight also has standardized container sizes. To know more about air freight container sizes, check out the unit load device article on our website. I will drop the link in the description. Importance of containerization. Introducing containerization or container shipping was a revolution in the maritime industry. An industry only known to ship as breakbulk has experienced numerous advantages over the new concept. Intermodalism enabled cargo to be loaded at the shipper's place and delivered to the customer's place, combining different transport modes without destuffing them in between. So container shipping made a great impact on faster ship turnaround time, faster truck turnaround time, as well as the dwell time of cargo in ports. This has added value to the concepts like just-in-time, JIT, delivery, and lean inventory, and improved the overall supply chain and logistics performance of a company. What are the disadvantages of containerization? The capacity of seaports. With the development of container shipping, shipping lines buy bigger container ships to carry a higher number of containers at once to gain from economies of scale. Seaports have to accommodate these bigger ships in terms of berthing, navigation, and cargo handling equipment. So the deeper drafts ports, turning basin of ports, access channels, and cargo handling equipment should be capable of handling the bigger ships. High capital investments. Containers and container-related equipment and facilities are capital-intensive. Automating container terminals also requires procuring capital-intensive superstructure. For example, Grande cranes, portal cranes. Empty containers. Because of the trade imbalance, there are a lot of empty containers that are to be repositioned. These empty containers require the space same as the laden containers, yet do not add any value to the trade flow or the shipping line. Encourage illegal businesses. Once the cargo is stuffed in a container and sealed, cargo inside is not visible at all. Border control bodies do not physically check every container while at import-export clearance. Hence, there is a high risk of people engaging in illegal activities like transporting drugs and declaring wrong quantities or commodities to gain from taxes. The 9/11 incident in the USA also happened due to this reason, where the USA had taken initiatives on implementing 24-hour AMS filing to safeguard the country. What are the advantages of containerization? Reduce the cost of international trade. Stuffing cargo in a container reduces the number of handling involved throughout the supply chain. This reduces the labor and machinery cost involved in cargo handling. While at the port, stevedoring charges for cargo handling, warehousing charges on storing, and dockage charges due to faster ship turnaround time could reduce time. Earlier 10 packages had to handle 10 times, whereas all 10 packages inside the container could handle at once now. So the cargo transferring time has been drastically reduced. This increases the turnaround time of ships and trucks. Standardization. Since the containers have standard sizes, everyone understands container handling and storing requirements as the container sizes are known. This is one of the biggest advantages of container shipping. Safety and security. A container can be locked once the cargo is stuffed. When the lock is placed at the shipper's place, it won't be open until the container reaches the consignee unless customs break the container lock for cargo screening. So there is an assurance that there could not be any threat or theft of the cargo. Warehousing. Containers could store in open yards. Generally, cargo carries in boxes with all four sides covered, so there is no need to have closed warehouses to store containers. Further, containers can stack on top of one another. Even inside the ships, containers stack in the same manner by enabling ships to reach economies of scale. Container vessels and seaports. In order to achieve economies of scale, container lines adopt strategies and practices like alliances, hub, and spoke models in liner shipping. When the ships get bigger and bigger, seaports should have the facilities to accommodate those big vessels. For example, draft of the port, available equipment, berthing capabilities are key factors to consider by a seaport. Further, a ship could be built within 2 to 4 years. But it will take a few years to construct or expand a port. If the container operation of a terminal is automated, there are limitations for the same terminal to facilitate bigger ships than the designed capacity. The containers are typically loaded onto terminal tractors from the vessels. These trucks are designed for short-distance haulage, in order to move containers from the ship to the storage yard where the containers wait to be picked up by a truck or a train. Reach stackers and rubber tire gantries are highly used to load and unload containers in the yard. Rubber tire gantries have wheels. These cranes are able to fully straddle containers. Some cranes run on tracks and can straddle multiple rows of containers. Reach stackers have a long arm that can easily be used to stack containers several rows deep or to load them onto semi-trailers and railcars. Some ports like Rotterdam Port has crane operators, remotely operating the gantry crane via computer software that unloads containers from a ship. The container unloads onto a fully automated terminal truck which drives it to the storage area to be unloaded by an automated stacker crane. Knowing exactly what date and time a container needs to be picked up, a computer can plan the most efficient way to stack containers. This ensures the container isn't covered up too deep in the stacks in the loading date as nearby. So the number of operational moves required to access the container is less when need to move it out from the yard. Automation provides some unique benefits over the human operation, such as the accuracy of repetitive tasks and logical planning of efficient processes. Automating a container port is very expensive, yet ports gain benefits such as increased productivity and safety. So what is your thoughts on marine services? Let me know on the comment section. That's it for this video. If you like our content, consider subscribing to the channel. See you in another video. Thank you.